the Speaker of the House, we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's called all of you knuckle draggers. Yeah.
Now, I haven't heard the term knuckle dragger in a long time. But yeah, apparently, I guess you and me and everybody that probably listens to the show and everybody who follows Ron Paul and about every libertarian out there and most independent voters, we're all knuckle draggers, apparently.
Yeah, true fiscal conservatives are evidently knuckle draggers. Now, if you go to a Webster dictionary on this, it's not very complimentary, is it? I mean, it's either, yes, you're a caveman and ape man, kind of like the Kinks song we just heard, or it's a derogatory way to describe somebody as being, prehistoric, right? Could it be?
Yes.
Could it have
caveman with your arms hanging on the ground, basically very low intelligence and representing general stupidity.
Right. Now, and we don't play the race baiting games, even though we could recognize that certain people will say this and interpret it as a racial use or derogatory use, but we don't look at it that way. We think in terms of being a knuckle dragger, based on what John Boehner, Speaker of the House, told Greta Van Susteren just yesterday, that, we proudly proclaim that we here on the Robert Scott Bell Show are knuckle draggers. Now, if you'd like to be part of our knuckle dragging club, we'll form a private association. You can call up and ask to sign up at 866-939-BELL, 866-939-2355. Welcome to the Robert Scott Bell Show, where the knuckle draggers of the world unite. Now, I guess we should kind of get more explanation here, should we not, as to how this contextually applies to all of us.
Yes. This would be on the Greta Van Susteren show on wonderful Fox News. John Boehner was on, and Greta asked him a question about the voting record that we are all now familiar with in regards to Paul Ryan.
People think of him as hawkish on the budget, on expenses, but he voted for TARP, he voted for the auto bailout, voted for the 2 stimulus in 2008, voted against the February 09 President Obama stimulus. How does he explain those? Or, politically, how does he sell that?
Well, I think that he's a practical conservative. He's got a very conservative voting record, but he's not a knuckle dragger, right? He understood that TARP, while none of us wanted to do it, if we were going to save our economy and save the world economy, it had to happen.
Whoa, so he used this in context of defending Paul Ryan, the guy that we found out.
Practical conservative.
It's practical when you abandon principle that you may never have had. So we know John Boehner is a phony, too. He's a faker. And he's calling anybody that opposed TARP now is a knuckle dragger, right? If you saw that you would destroy the value of the Federal Reserve note dollar, weaken and destroy the middle class and make more of the middle class poor people, you're a knuckle dragger for seeing that TARP would do that and saying it and warning against it. No, he's a practical conservative. Practically not a conservative at all.
No, what an insult is that? When you are trying to get the independent voters, you're trying to encourage the libertarian-leaning conservatives, the Ron Paul followers, to come over to your camp and vote for Romney. And to basically call every single one of those people a knuckle dragger because they oppose TARP. They oppose the bailouts of the auto industry. They oppose the $192 billion stimulus bill. They oppose Medicare Part D. There's so many things that Paul Ryan voted for that we disagree with. But basically, John Boehner, Speaker of the House, has decided that we are all knuckle draggers. We are all the equivalent of Neanderthal cavemen that are basically just stupid. And I can't think of a better way he could have insulted all of us.
Now, I tell you the definition of, as you said, stupid too. You can't learn. And it's clearly, if anybody's going to vote Republican in terms of Romney, Ryan, you're stupid. In the true sense of the definition, you can't learn. These people have no principles. None. And a vote for Romney is a vote for Obama. A vote for Obama is a vote for Romney. Now, if Ron Paul were to suddenly cause a coup d'etat upset because enough of the people woke up and said, oh, my gosh, we're all a bunch of knuckle draggers here, too. Let's vote for a knuckle dragger like Ron Paul because he actually was against TARP. And the Tea Party people, that was a big part of the Tea Party against the TARP bailouts, right?
Yeah. So really, honestly, he just insulted the entire Tea Party as well.
Oh, exactly. So what we're saying here is if this happened, Boehner, the Speaker of the House, head of the Republican Party, I guess, at top level of the Republican Party right now, where he's at in an elected office, would turn around and vote for Obama if Ron Paul were the nominee. That's what it says. It says these are not Republicans and Democrats.
Well,
these are statists. These are Federal Reserve supporters.
If you use his logic, if he did not vote for Obama and he voted for Ron Paul, then he would have to admit to voting for a knuckle dragger.
He would have to admit he's a knuckle dragger, too, which he's not. He's a practical conservative, which means you have no principles. Right. You're for the state at all costs. You're for the global banking phenomenon, the industry that was spawned out of the devil's lair in 1913 with the Federal Reserve Act.